All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you had a wonderful weekend. We are about to kick off one of the most exciting weeks. And, well, just take a look at the earnings calendar. We're going to hear from all of the big dogs, and pretty much every industry is going to start rolling out this week. And then on top of all the earnings, we're getting a bunch of data. We got Q2 GDP, all of the PMIs, all of the real estate data, and then you get the PCEs. But it's not over yet because you also get Jerome Powell on Wednesday, the Bank of Japan on Friday, and then I think on Wednesday or Thursday, you also got the ECB. Then there's like France or Germany, France, Spain, Australia inflation, and then a bunch of other readings overseas. But Chad, it is about to be wild. We got a lot from Powell to earnings and everything, so we have a bunch to talk about. It's pretty straightforward. I do have a lot of plays, and I noticed something with premiums that we're going to go over, but whatever happens this week, it's going to bring us to the end of July, and now we are going to find out, does August turn into Jackson Hole like last year? Are we good? Are we still in a holding pattern? Soft landing, no landing, they raise, they don't raise, it's about to get crazy. So Chad, drop your thumbs up on the video, make sure you're subscribed, all that good stuff. I think you know about this stream. YouTube.com/the stock market is free 99. This is how it looks. We're live every day. Every single trade we make is live, and then today is Sunday, tomorrow is Monday, and we need your help. This is the random account generator. We started this account with like $500 back in the day. It's still sitting here, and it's through this watch list, and we ask on this watch list, you post a random option trade in the comments, keep it below $100, and post the strike price, expiration date, all that good stuff, and we're gonna pick it tomorrow morning. So for a big earnings week, you know, we need something, Chad, but this week's about to be crazy. Let's get right into it. Actually, there's a couple things you need to see. I guess we'll start with the market and what happened last week. Just don't forget, we did kick off earnings. It was all about the banks, the big ones in the regionals. There was nothing really surprising. Then towards the middle of the week, we got Tesla and Netflix, and that gave us that weird hesitation, if you all remember. But take a look at the market. It's still holding up, and we didn't really go down too much. And the thing we were noticing after Tesla and Netflix was kind of this hesitation, but also this rotation, and people kind of buying some of the value and things that either already reported or that are down coming into their earnings. So that's what we're coming off of. But this week, it's going to boil down to a couple of things. So obviously, Meta, Microsoft, Amazon, those earnings are going to be important. And like I told you in the beginning, you're going to hear things from like 3M all the way down to energy. There's a lot of industries, even the food plays, we're going to talk about it. All of that's going to be important. You still have Apple and Google, I believe, as follow-up companies next week, but don't forget, you have Jerome Powell on Wednesday, and besides any of the earnings, besides the Bank of Japan, because I love the yen, the other thing you got to be looking out for is what happens on Wednesday, and the big thing people are talking about is the rate hike odds. So what I want you to notice first is if you go to investing.com, you could check the Fed futures. I want to highlight the December rate hike odds, where they are now coming into all of this, and also take note of where January odds are at. Why? Because depending on how this moves, this is the bond market telling you post-Powell, do they really believe in a rate cut before the end of the year, or does it get pushed back? Now, why is that the main thing? Why is that the thing that I'm focusing on? Because the main theme of this meeting is that Jerome Powell is going to raise rates on Wednesday. Even with earnings and everything that's gone on, people are not worried about that. Why would they be? Because remember, the last meeting, they chose not to raise rates. People thought that would be the pause. If Powell resumes rates, that's not a pause. But what everybody is saying now, and why you got to be looking at the Fed futures right here throughout all of this week, is because after this meeting, it is looking like this one will be the real pause. Pretty much after this rate hike, nobody is expecting any more movements. even though the Fed says 2 more. The Fed is saying they're going to do this week and then 1 more, but most of Wall Street, even financial media, they're hammering down that this will be the last one. So depending on how earnings develop, any of the data, remember we're getting a lot of stuff overseas and how we move into other stuff over the next couple of weeks that could change it. And even Jackson Hole follows up in around the beginning or middle of August. We're going to find out, but it's the end of the month. We got the earnings. We're making steps, or at least one step forward on monetary policy this week. It's wrapping us up, putting us into the middle of summer. And Chad, it's about to get crazy, so I hope you're ready, but let us get into the plays. So, like I'm saying, it's all about earnings. You should be able, or I'm saying it's all about earnings besides Powell, but earnings, we don't know what's going to happen. We got to monitor the companies, but now, as far as the plays, I have 3 different things that I am looking at, and I want to show you the pre-earnings scam. So I guess it's kind of good and bad that we've been highlighting it, but if you have been watching here, if you remember last week before Netflix, before Tesla, we started grabbing these puts. We were saying, let's play the IV and go for some of these out of the money plays. So we grabbed the Amazon. These ones are barely up. Here's the Google. They actually did a lot better since last Tuesday, so that one was nice. The Meta ones kind of lagged and they went up, and then I think there was one more. Microsoft, this one's actually still down, but I don't want to show you just these ones. I want you to look around now for any of these pre-earnings plays. We talked about Airbnb and playing the other side, and now that's what I want you to notice, is that there are other plays, and we talked about this, and I said take a look at the Airbnb puts. You'll notice the stock keeps going up. They're coming into earnings, and even with this week now, there's going to be so many sympathy plays. Maybe we watch the IV start to pick up, but I was comparing the Airbnb puts to something like, let's say, I don't know, good old Snapchat. And this is where it gets interesting, because Snapchat, they also ran up a lot, but you see here, they've kind of like chilled out over the last 2 days. But if you go through any of their puts, you will notice that these premiums are through the roof, aka a lot of companies like Airbnb, Snap, Meta, Google, they've had some pretty big run-ups in the last couple of weeks, but I'm just telling you now, all of their options coming into earnings, they look completely different, and it all depends on when their last red day was. Pretty much on any of the pre-IV or pre-earnings days, the green days are going to skyrocket up the contracts, and then the red days are going to make a little bit more premium to the downside. But what I'm trying to tell you is that there are these pre-earnings plays. I'm going to be watching Airbnb and Snapchat, and the way I'm looking at it is, after seeing Snapchat juiced up and Airbnb on the low, I think I might be going for some Airbnb puts this week. So we're going to find out, but the real thing I want you guys to notice is that right now, coming into earnings season, not all premiums are created equal, even if the stocks have all gone up or all gone down, especially after last week. You got to really pay attention to what is a deal. Now, we have an old video on standard deviations, and keep that in mind. Pretty much if you just take what a company is priced in, so go to TD Ameritrade, pull up your option chain, type in the stock, you'll see Snap here. It says like 290, about plus or minus $3 there. That's the at the money straddle, but it's letting you know about $3 is priced in. That should be within one standard deviation. A good rule of thumb is that 2 times the amount of priced in, that's going to be 2 standard deviations, and that's where things start to get a little crazy. So if you're looking at any of the puts or not, or calls, depending on how they ran up, ask yourself, how much are you paying for something that is 2 times the expected move? And if that still has a premium, or if you go on that chart and that's still expensive, that might not be a good deal. So like in the case of a Snap put, if it's pricing in 3, let's go to like $6 out. The stock's at like 12, so that'd be like, damn, $6, $7 here. But that's going for 5 cents. So let's see how much that option is. That's on the weekly. Or I guess they're right here. So this was not bad, but if you even see it, man, these were going for 6 cents the other day. These, I guess, were virtually worthless. So I would say it's kind of expensive, but then go compare that to something like Airbnb, and I think you would probably be finding the stock at one of its lower premiums. So I guess we'll try it here. Airbnb. And this may be the issue because their earnings is a month from now, so you don't even get the MMM thing. But if you go to like the August 18th or August 8th, I think that's the week of the earnings, it says about $15. If you go $30 out, I guess the question would be what strike price. I think that takes you down to like 118. And then let's go see how much those are priced on Airbnb. And hopefully you get an idea of what I'm trying to show you here. I'm just checking 2 standard deviations out, but mainly what I want you guys to see is that the breakdown on some of these contracts right now, especially as we get into this big reporting season, some of the opposite moves are cheap, but some of them absolutely are not. So if you want to make a good earnings play, even a pre-run up, this could help you. So the 113, it's not loading for me, but even if you go look out here, every contract on Airbnb is just sitting at its all-time low. If you compare that to something like Snap and its recent move in reporting this week, even though the stock had a 30% move this quarter, those premiums are still jacked up, even though they have ran out of time. So that's the little earnings scam I wanted to make you aware of, and that's why I will be keeping an eye out for Airbnb puts and even Snapchat too. They're going to be reporting. That's going to be the second play, or even like Pinterest and anything related to Meta. And another thing is that Google reports next week, so whatever Meta does this week, there might be a little bit of follow through or IV catch up that you could play on the next weeks for Google. So watch out for that. But those are play number 1 and 2. And then finally, the only other thing I'm going to be watching this week besides the yen, besides corn, McDonald's. And why? Because Monday, Domino's. I think on Wednesday, you're going to be getting Chipotle. Then Thursday is McDonald's. But a lot of food companies, these are kind of in that weird value. And we've been watching some of these value rotations. I think these food plays, especially McDonald's, or if you want to play any of those as a pre-run sympathy or not, I think it could be very compelling. So going to be watching that. As far as everything else, still in the plays from last week, I decided to hold on to corn. I'm going to see what we do this week, but I do want to get out of it. Then for the yen, riding that one out, the inflation did come up a little bit higher. If you didn't see on Friday, pretty much the news was Japan had the higher inflation than America for the first time in 8 years. But why didn't the currency move and strengthen? Because all of the governors on the Bank of Japan were like, no, we're not going to do it. And people took that comment as bearish. Now on Friday, they're going to have their Fed meeting. They're going to decide what they do, either raising rates or not. They're not supposed to announce anything now. It looks like the rumor's dying down, but pretty much after that meeting, if it does hold, or if it kind of sets the floor, or maybe they surprise us with it, then we're going to know. But I am still long yen, and I'm just going to be riding that out. I think either tomorrow's meeting or in between then and October, that's when we should see the next catalyst. So going to be riding those plays out. I'm definitely going to give you more updates, but we have so much this week. It's going to be all over the place. There's going to be a lot of opportunity. Balance the budget. Stay in the game, and I hope you're ready for the end of July. But Teddy's your watch list, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure hydrate, healthy, ready to go. Make sure post your watch list. Make sure we see you there in the morning. I need the armor on. I need the helmet shining. I need you to remember that part of enjoying life is being thankful, and I hope you're thankful for everything the market has taught you so far, because Chad, oh, you're so ready. You have lived through so many historical events, and as we wrap up this summer, oh, we're going to find out. New regime, old regime, is it history? No, but Chad, you're prepared, and I said this on Friday. I hope you realize how prepared you really are, and I hope you're grateful for it in all aspects, baby. So Chad, I love you. I hope you're ready. I hope you got rest this weekend, because it's about to go crazy. But that's it. I love you. I'm gonna go get my water. I'm gonna get my sleep. You should do the same. Stay hydrated, healthy, all that. But Chad, make it great. Make volatility. They don't know. Some people, they don't know. You know, this shirt, I used to get like weird looks at the airport. I stopped wearing this to the airport. People got mad. Okay, I'm weird. I'm not weird. I don't know. I'm just excited. Chad, it's earnest. It's earnest. That's it. I could do this for, okay, horn.